Good Tuesday morning. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk. This, an insider's guide to real estate in life. We're live in Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille Network. Today's show, a good one. Michael Payne, Charlottesville City Councilor. He's on deck. He's going to join us T-minus 8 or 9 minutes on the program. We'll also welcome Ned Gallaway to the program, Chairman of the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors. We'll catch up with what's going on in Albemarle County and the city of Charlottesville and update you on the latest news from a COVID standpoint. Judah Wickhauer, you are the director. If you could, studio camera, and then let's welcome the freshly mustached and masked Keith Smith to the program. Good morning, Keith.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm masked up, ready to go.
I see that. What's going on over there?
I want to give a shout out.
And can people hear him? They can hear him through with the mask on?
We're 6 feet apart.
Okay.
I'm going to take the mask off here in a minute. I just, I had to have a mustache on, right?
I like it.
I've had a mustache since 1985. So I'm going to take the mask off. I want to give a little shout out to a local artisans. And see how I can do this without hurting myself. So these masks here are made by a local artisan. They're refugees from El Salvador and Syria, and the fabric is donated by CVille Dress Company.
Nice.
And Judah will pop up at www.artfullivingpop.com. They're $10 a piece. They're multi-layers of African cotton breathable fabric. Those who have been following the CDC requirements or recommendations, they are recommending that if you do have to go out, have social distancing, which is what we're doing. We're well over 6 feet apart from each other.
That's right.
And to wear a mask, and no, you can't put mustache on it. That's my idea. But so we're all about promoting local businesses. Right, and promoting local folks. This is a great thing. We're going to talk about something next Friday with some local businesses and how they're faring through this crisis, frankly, for a word. So a couple of quick things about masks. CDC, and we're going to post it on the feed later on today. CDC has put out a how-to, a DIY how-to on how to make your own masks. I would encourage you to do that. Let's save the official masks, for lack of a better term, for the first responders and all these folks that need them in a hospital. This works well. Wash it every time you use it. This is a great opportunity to slow this crisis down and get this thing on the other side of the hump. So please log in. Please support your local businesses, local refugees. They're doing some great work. Log into the site. Buy up some masks.
I love it. I love the local flavor. I love supporting local merchants. It comes in a nice little bag like this, very eclectic and different from a color standpoint, and you're doing your part to help keep the community healthy. We're doing our small part as well. The star of our program, Keith Smith, has welcomed Michael Payne to the show. He's going to join us in about 90 seconds on the show. Ned Gallaway, the chairman of the Board of Supervisors, is going to join us as well. We'll give away some Marie Bet gift cards on the program by asking a trivia question and encouraging you to share the answer to the trivia question. It's going to be local trivia in the comment section of any of these 12 Facebook pages. How are you holding up before I get Michael Payne on the line? What's new in your world? What's new in real estate, with your family, your health?
Man, thanks for asking. It's like everybody else. We're struggling. We're a little bit frightened. But I have a post that I put on the bottom of my email is, stay safe and stay positive. So we're staying safe, we're staying positive. As far as real estate is concerned, we're still moving. Business is still happening. We're answering questions. Should I not put my house on the market? Should I, wait? These are very personal decisions. Yonna and I have set up our 2 little offices in our house, and we're just spending a tremendous amount of phone time communicating with clients. We have potential sellers that are afraid to move out of their house. We're just navigating this whole new circumstance, together as a team. We're in this together. And so the market surely is not what it was this time last year, clearly, but it is moving. We do have buyers and sellers. Michael Guthrie was sharing with me that the company's Roy Wheeler Realty's company sales for March matched the same sales for last year, which is
great.
Which is a great
Yeah.
news. Now, there's a little lagging indicator in some of this stuff, but I think we're going to do good. One of the things I'm going to try to do on our Friday show, and I'm still trying to negotiate this, is to have a couple of folks from Seattle and Portland call in. They're really complaining about the fact that it's really 7:15 in the morning.
Yeah,
10:15
it's early for them.
Yeah. So, but in any event, trying to talk on our Friday show a little bit about the market, how it may be changing out in West, and is that coming our way? So
we're going to get Michael Payne on the line. Judah, I'm going to go ahead and get him on the horn from a Skype standpoint. I'm going to shift chairs, so you're going to have to watch that audio level on the next mic. Michael Payne is the Charlottesville City Councilor. He's been doing a heck of a job leading the community in a short time. And Michael, when we get you on here shortly, make sure you have that camera turned around for us so we can see you. Perfect for you, Michael Payne. Before we welcome Michael to the show, your ideas and pass me your cord if you could, your ideas for the show and welcoming leaders to the program like Michael Payne and offering insight and knowledge.
So first off, Judah, can you hear me through this mask?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
And pass me the cord too while you're talking.
I apologize.
Sure.
We're learning, guys.
Go ahead.
So the vision for the show is to, very much so like we did last Friday, is to try to bring in some trusted advisors, people that are on the city council or the board of supervisors, to go ahead and share what's happening in their jurisdictions and get some good information out, because good, positive information out. And hopefully the folks who are watching will be able to chime in some questions. That's really what my vision was, is to get the local elected officials from each jurisdiction, and over the next couple of weeks we're going to bring in different folks. I had the Board of Supervisors from Lavana, Nelson, and Greene, and Louisa County all agree to do that. It's a little hard to get all of them on
of course. Yeah.
one show. But we're going to do that and say, hey, what's going on in your neighborhood, and how can you help, and how can you get good information out? And if any of the listeners out there have some questions, Jerry's following the feed.
I am.
He can chime out and do it. So
let's welcome Michael to the program. And Michael, I'll throw the first question, then Keith will come at you. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate your receptiveness and your willingness to interact and communicate and connect with the community in Charlottesville. I'll get out of your way here. COVID-19, Charlottesville, Virginia. Today is Tuesday, April 7th. It changes every day. Any updates you can give us, certainly appreciated, Michael Payne.
Yeah, well, first, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. There's a lot of updates to give. I guess sort of at a high level, the data from the Thomas Jefferson Health District, which is Charlottesville, Albemarle, Louisa, as well as a few other counties, there's around 100 confirmed cases in our health district. That number, in reality, is likely much higher than that because of the shortage of testing. Albemarle itself has around 46 cases. Charlottesville, 20 confirmed cases, and that level of cases on its own is already an indication that there's probably community spread already in these localities. And in Virginia as a whole, there's around 3,000 confirmed cases. Again, that number is likely much higher because of the shortage of testing. But that's where we are in terms of confirmed cases. We're still following the governor's order for a stay-at-home order until at least June 15th, and following those measures. And the reality is that in order for us to really, bend that curve and get out of this, we're going to need three basic things. One, we're going to need free universal access to testing that is easily accessible to everyone. That's sort of the bedrock of being able to determine who needs to self-quarantine, who needs to have their contacts traced, who has built immunity, and who is perhaps okay to start going back into public. And we don't have that yet. We also need personal protective equipment, gloves, masks, and other things that are accessible to every family as well as every worker. And until we have those two things, we're just going to have to remain staying at home and in self-quarantine until we finally get to the point where we have that level of testing available.
So, Michael, thank you very much for doing this. Most importantly, how you doing, man? I know you guys are at the city council, and Ned will ask the same question when he comes in. You guys are on the forefront. I know for a fact you're putting in a ton of hours trying to keep us safe. How are you doing, man?
Good. I mean, staying busy. There's certainly a lot going on, and still just trying to stay connected to all the community work and community initiatives that are going on. I think by far the hardest thing is just that we get texts, emails, calls from so many community members, and you just see the level of need and worry there is in the community, and seeing how, while we're doing everything we can at a local level, we just need the resources from the federal and state government to really ensure that nobody's falling through the cracks. And I think that's the hardest thing, is just seeing people come with legitimate problems, and we can try to do our best to help at a local level, but we just don't have the money and resources to fully meet that need.
So, what's the best way for people to get information? We're doing our part here at Real Talk. Jerry's doing his part on I Love Charlottesville to get it out. Some people don't have internet access. Some people don't have this, right? So how can we help you get information out?
Yeah, well, I think the governor is doing daily press conferences during the week, which I think are a good source of information and updates at a state level, and really tracking not just the number of cases there are in Virginia, but everything that Virginia is doing at a state level. And there are quite a number of actions that the state has taken. At a local level, people can sign up to receive email updates through the city's newsletter. And that's something, if you go to charlottesville.org, the city's website, that you can sign up for. And that's something that Brian Wheeler, our communications director, sends out. There's daily updates about what the city is doing. Likewise, Brian Wheeler, our communications director, has started a new public access TV show that for the duration of the COVID-19 crisis is going to be providing interviews with and updates from city leaders, including Chief Baxter, about, again, everything that the city is doing from a city level. There's the Thomas Jefferson Health District, which is on social media and has an email newsletter as well. And they're sending out daily updates about the number of confirmed cases in our health district, as well as providing information about what the CDC is recommending and what additional actions people can take in their own lives. I think supportcville.com is a really great resource. That is a collection of all the local resources and organizations working on local support for families and individuals facing, a financial or personal crisis because of COVID-19. And it's a pretty comprehensive list. And they're also working on providing homemade personal protective equipment, things like masks and gloves, to workers and community members. So those are just, I think, some local and state resources that are good to keep an eye on and check daily. But it's definitely important. I think one of the big things for us as a city is just trying to communicate and get the word out. And there is quite a bit of misinformation on social media, and it's really important to make sure that people have the facts.
So, Michael, again, thank you so much. A couple of quick things, and I'm going to turn it over to Jerry here, who may have a couple of questions for you. For those who don't have, and I realize we're on a social media platform, but those who don't have that, is there a phone number somebody can call?
We just got that question.
Okay.
Yeah. You want me to read the question?
Sure.
From the guest?
Just hang on a second.
Yeah,
I'll let Jerry take over.
And I'm going to throw it to you. This is good. Kate Elwood says, are there any mailers or flyers going out to the neighborhoods and individuals who may not have access to internet or phone usage?
Yeah. So again, great question. And is there anything we can do to help in that process?
Yeah, well, I know Heather Hill, as well as others, have been working with neighborhood associations to try and get the word out through those networks, not just through their email list, but through flyers and offline communications. And I know they've had some success getting communications out that way. Again, if people don't have internet, but they do have access to television in any way, there is that public access TV show, which is airing on Tuesdays and Thursdays on our local public access TV channel that's providing updates from city leaders. There's community groups that have definitely been working with trying to get communications out to, you know, folks who are living in public housing or folks who are living in Southwood and other communities, especially to provide information about things like the fact that there's been a suspension on evictions and voucher terminations, as well as just, providing information about the basic supports that are available in our community. And that's definitely a huge priority. There are phone numbers. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but Thomas Jefferson Health District does have a hotline that they answer every day. They have certain hours, but they've recently hired additional people, and so there's a pretty there's not much of a wait, if any wait. They're pretty good at answering calls that come through them relating to questions and connecting people with resources. There's always the state health department as well. Probably the easiest access point is our more local Thomas Jefferson Health District, but they do have a phone line. And as well as for individuals who don't have access to internet, both Albemarle County and Charlottesville have set up Wi-Fi hotspots that people can access through their cars. So if you go to any library through the JMRL system and you're outside in your car, you can access their Wi-Fi there. All public schools in Albemarle, if you're outside those buildings, you have access to Wi-Fi. And then in the parking lot area of Ix, Ting has set up Wi-Fi access. That's actually what I'm on now. My internet went out the other day in my home, and I'm waiting for that to get fixed. So I'm actually out here at one of those hotspots, and is, I think, a good resource, especially for a lot of students and other folks who might need to be doing work and they just don't have reliable internet in their home, especially in these more rural parts of Albemarle County and surrounding counties.
Michael Payne, our guest, Charlottesville City Councilor. We're going to highlight a couple folks watching now. Planning Commissioner Rory Stolzenberg watching, Kyle Irvin from Charlottesville Albemarle Transit watching the program, Al Schoenberg, the owner and founder of Keswick Vineyards. Welcome to the show. We'll give away the Marie Bet gift cards shortly. We'll ask a trivia question. You put the answer in the comment section, and we'll pick some winners. It's going to be restaurant related. On the restaurant note, what are you hearing from the the restaurant owners? It's tough out there. The city is doing its best to help. What are you hearing from the restaurant owners, Michael?
Yeah, well, I think the way to think about this COVID-19 situation is there's two concurrent crises. There's the public health crisis, which is the most urgent and important one. But along with that, there's an economic crisis. And so, we get communications daily from not just restaurants, but small business and entrepreneurs throughout the community who are really facing a dire situation because the revenues are down. Obviously, a lot of these small businesses rely on small margins and rely on seasons to make it through the year, and that's taken a huge, unexpected, sudden hit. And so, I think restaurants and small businesses across the community are seeing significant cash flow problems, a lot of uncertainty, and so that's something that we get communications from all the time, and it's a major concern for us as a city government because. Both because the meals tax is the second biggest source of revenue locally, but more important than that, the fact that there's so many restaurant workers, service industry workers who rely on those jobs who are now seeing reduced hours or they've lost their jobs and they're seeing a sudden drop to perhaps no income and the situation that's creating. You've got small businesses potentially, without support going out of business, which is just like a huge blow to the community. So, some of our Office of Economic Development has been working to set up, a promotion, a campaign about the fact that people can store or take out and delivery, and they've set up dedicated spots at front of restaurants for people to go and pick up takeout orders, and they're promote that on social media and other venues. Likewise, they created a new loan fund locally to help small businesses. Just going through that. Again, our Commissioner of the Revenue has suspended collection action and fees and penalties for late payment of taxes, including the meals tax. We've suspended patio fees for downtown businesses and a number of other actions. And again, the challenge is just that while we are doing everything we can and we're always looking for additional creative opportunities, the reality is we don't have the resources or legal authority to meet that entire need which is why the support from the federal and state government is huge. And on that, and the state has taken a number of actions. They've opened up access to EIDL. I'm forgetting the acronym, but it's an emergency loan for small businesses. Likewise, Congress has just passed, obviously, their huge coronavirus bill, which includes billions of dollars in grants and loans for small businesses through the Small Business Administration. And our Office of Economic Development is working with the business community to try and help people through that application process if needed and provide them with information. Likewise, the state is trying to do a similar thing in providing information and assistance for businesses who are applying for that, which I think is really important because that those loan funds are first come, first serve. And that means it's really important that our business community has the information to be on top of that. I think those are going to be, because they're able to allocate hundreds of billions of dollars to that, I think that's just the most critical thing. But again, more action is definitely needed. I think at a state and federal level, we need an eviction or a temporary suspension on rent and payments, mortgage payments and evictions, not just for individuals and families, but small businesses as well.
So, Michael, we're going to have to jump off here pretty quickly to get a hold of Ned. First of all, thank you very much. Second of all, if you have an opportunity, we had Congressman Ringelman on last Friday's show. We talked a little bit about this from the federal level. He has agreed to come back on often to provide updates. So I will do my best to have that so we can get some federal level information out. And as you know, both of us are extremely passionate about affordable housing. At some point in time, maybe in the very near future, I'd like to do a roundtable of affordable housing experts. You, of course, one of them. Maybe somebody from the Land Trust, so we can talk about how this COVID-19 is affecting that and how we can get past it. But at the moment, the goal here is to get good information out. So thank you so much for your time. Please stay safe and please stay positive. And you're a positive guy anyway, so thank you for all you're doing.
Yeah, and again, I would just real quickly, I would encourage everyone to visit supportcville.com, which has a very comprehensive list of resources as well as ways that you can get involved, donate, and get involved in things like creating masks for frontline healthcare workers, grocery workers, bus drivers, everyone who's really putting their life and health on the line to serve our community.
So on that note, we're going to post it, but there's a DIY fix for masks. You can actually make one out of a T-shirt, an old T-shirt. So we're going to post it in the feed so people, all you need is a pair of scissors and an old T-shirt. Michael, thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Definitely, thank you.
Hey, Michael, thank you. You have a good one. Michael Payne, good people. Thank you for joining us on the program. We have questions coming in. Mr. Madison watching the program, I would encourage you, he's looking for information on the loan opportunities from the federal government. I would encourage you, Mr. Madison watching the show, to go to sba.gov, sba.gov. Ned Gallaway, if you're watching, I'm sending you a Skype message. We're going to reach out to you in 90 seconds.
So I would
Ned Gallaway.
So I would encourage you just to go back to the show for on Friday. The congressman sent out some pretty good links that you can check on that.
Yep. Absolutely. Denver Riggleman, U.S. Congressman on Real Talk, courtesy of this man's Rolodex. That show is archived on the YesTeamRealtors.com, also on ILoveCVille.com. Teresa Davis, thank you for sharing the show. All right, we have 4 $25 gift cards to Marie Bet. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're supporting restaurants, the Yes Team Realtors, and the I Love CVille Network. He's taking money out of his pocket buying these gift cards. This is the question. Charlottesville's a town that enjoys a libation from time to time. That's safe to say, right?
Are you really?
Right? We both do. All right, here's the question. There is one watering hole in Charlottesville city limits that has 0 windows. One watering hole in Charlottesville city limits that has 0 windows. Name that watering hole for a chance to win a $25 Marie Bet gift card. Just put the answer in the comments section of any of the 12 Facebook pages. Before we get Ned Gallaway, maybe dot the I's and cross the T's on Michael Payne.
Yeah, so, my hat's off to him. He's, those who may know him, he works for Habitat at the state level. So I know that his workload is up here. Plus, he's trying to put in the time in for a city councilor. I've been kicked around this local government and state government for over 30-something years. And, you know, local city councilors, board of supervisors, that's a 40 to 60 hour
Easily.
a week. And then you got to do your real job.
Right.
And these guys, you know, you may or may not appreciate their opinion on something, but you do need to take your hat off. They're working their butts off,
right,
and they're really working their butts off now. So show them a little love, and we will get through this together.
I love it. Well said.
Thank you.
This portion of the program, and give some love to Roy Wheeler Realty Company as I get Ned Gallaway on the line. Yeah. Judah, I'm reaching out to Ned Gallaway via Skype.
So at the bottom of the screen, we have all our sponsors for this particular show, Roy Wheeler and everybody across the board. You know, we're just trying to get good information out. Please support these local businesses like we're trying to support local artisans and refugees. So please just support our local economy.
Ned Gallaway on the line. Judah Wickhauer, our director. Are you ready for Ned? Ned Gallaway is the chairman of the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors. He's kind enough to join us on the program. The mission of Real Talk is to offer approachable educational content so you're a little bit more secure from a knowledge standpoint in Charlottesville and Central Virginia and the Commonwealth. Ned, you are now live across the I Love CVille Network. First question I'll ask, and then I'll pass you to Keith. If you can offer any updates from a county standpoint, COVID-19 here on Tuesday, April 7th, 2020, Ned.
Well, I think the biggest update is last week and good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Very, very nice, Keith. I hadn't seen that yet. I'll learn on the call in to not just start talking when you answer next time. I apologize for interrupting. The biggest update we received last week at our board meeting, our first virtual meeting after our emergency ordinance was passed, was some sobering news about the remaining quarter of this fiscal year's budget, and then potentially what's going to end up happening for next year's budget. There's a handful of $1 million that we're looking at will be short revenue-wise this year, and then the staff has been working diligently over the past 7 to 10 days to figure out how we're going to, because you have to balance things by the end of the year, so they're working on how we're going to do that. We believe we'll be able to do that in operational fashion without having to go to our contingencies or our reserves, which is good news. And then next year, we'll be looking at restructuring basically what we were looking at already during this budget cycle. So we're going to have a very different budget picture going into the next 30 days to figure out what our fiscal 21 budget is going to look like. That is a big deal because that impacts everybody in the county. That's all of our services. That's all of our operations. That's fire. That's rescue. It's the whole organization. And this crisis has really put us in a situation where we'll be dealing with it severely over the next 3 months. And then obviously it'll be having impact through next year as we figure that budget out.
So as you can tell, I'm wearing a mask with my lovely mustache. So thank you for not laughing out loud in front of
I think he did to start.
I think he did. So I noticed you're not looking at me at the camera, so I must be making you feel uncomfortable. So look, what we're trying to do is support local folks. These masks are made by some local refugees from El Salvador and Syria. It's donated. The material's donated by the CVille Dress Company. There's a link that we'll put on it. They're $10 a piece. They work perfect. The CDC has recommended that you wear this if you're going to get within 6 feet. And the reason I'm wearing it is I'm within 6 feet. Not quite. We're right at 6 foot with Jerry.
I'll put mine on.
Put yours
I'll put mine on, dude. Okay, I'll put mine on.
But you don't have the mustache, so there's no way you're going to look that good. So look, you mentioned something about the budget, so I appreciate for sharing that. A conversation we had with Michael was talking about resources available to city residents. Can you speak a little bit about resources? And part of the conversation was going on that some folks may not have this, right? And some folks may not have the, my little mask is coming down, may not have a laptop or something like that. So is there any solutions that the county may have so the public can get information, maybe a phone number, or is there something that we can get out to help help do that. Looking good.
Oh, yeah. I'm putting the mask on, Ned. You'll see it shortly. But that's a good question. Ask Ned that question, okay? Ask Ned that question.
I asked the question. Go ahead, Ned. Shoot out.
So I think there are a couple different places. Albemarle County, we've partnered with the city of Charlottesville and the Community Foundation. And this is specific for tenants who may be struggling. There's a community resource hotline up and running, 434-234-4490 for emergency financial assistance. If residents have phone numbers, I had mentioned this the last time I was on the show, that if they're working with any department in local county government, they can still contact staff through their regular office hours and office numbers. Although they may not be working in their office, they are on the job and working and teleworking so that they're available to assist. Obviously, there's the Thomas Jefferson Health District, the COVID-19 hotline, 434-972-6261. This is specifically if you have, if you're concerned about health or welfare of any resident, that number can be called. We have our website. If you go to, you mentioned trying to stay away from the electronics. If there are folks that have connectivity issues but do have devices but are just having trouble getting to Wi-Fi, I know that our schools are allowing folks to go into the parking lot there and then connect up to the Wi-Fi at the schools. So that's one way that if it's truly not a device and it's all phone number, then that is a way that they could contact the county and they'll get directed to the right places that the county has set up. If it's a true emergency, you're going to call 911. If it's not a true emergency, you can still call our county health services. There's more general lines available for that, and people can direct you to the right resources.
So this is a case or an example, I should say, of local governments thinking outside of the box. Because Michael Payne, who was just on earlier, had connectivity problems, and the city has the same thing. I believe he was at the IX Park.
It was at X Park.
It was at X Park,
Yeah.
and the people that are allowing folks to get onto their network safely, of course. So that's a great piece of information to get out, right? So look, if you can't get connectivity, there's these spots. So what we'll do on the live feed today or tomorrow or later on today is we'll start dropping some of this information in and to include those numbers. So offline, we'll get you to repeat those numbers and we'll put them in the feed so folks can go ahead and do that. So the same question I asked Michael. Ned, how you doing, man? How's you and your family?
Yeah, we're doing well. I mean, the children are adjusting to the fact that they're basically cut off from all of their friends and seeing their friends, but they're managing with their devices to stay connected electronically. They're starting to get into more of a structure and a schedule for their schooling, doing video conferencing and things like that with their teachers, getting assignments done. So, it's past the point of it just being, we're off now, but we're getting used to the fact that there's some structure available. My wife, she's still doing, thankfully, very well. She works at the hospital. I'd mentioned she's a nurse. So far, so good. But, we did take the family out yesterday to Chris Green Lake and did some kayaking. And it was nice to see that it wasn't an abundance of folks, but there were a handful of people out there doing the same, fishing, hiking, a couple of folks at the dog park. Nothing that looked, nobody over a group of 2 or 4. Maybe 5 was the largest group. But for the most part, people out just trying to take the time to do some activities like that on such a nice day. So it was good to see.
We asked Lloyd Snook this question from a city of Charlottesville standpoint on the show, and we asked the question, if this goes longer, how is this going to impact the county? And he said, I had folks that work for the city supply me with this information. 6 months, economic closure, 12 months, 18 months, economic closure. That way he had an idea of what could happen. He had options. Same question for you, Ned. I mean, what happens if this continues longer from a county standpoint?
Well, it's something that obviously last week when we received our budget update, it was with the information that they had at that time. And over the next 30 to 40 days, we'll be continually to update that information. How we project revenues is always looking forward to, might there be a recession? What headwinds might we encounter? Are things going to continue to grow and be strong? So the prognostication that we do continues on a regular basis. It's just right now that revenues we had projected last year are just no longer coming in. So really the next 3 months is the vital piece. How do we keep the continuity of government? How do we keep all our operations going and still balance the budget with these revenues not coming in? Since we're not into the next fiscal year yet, we'll use the best information we have available to plan for next year as best we can. And like I said, we get through this year and don't have to touch the contingencies, then that's what those contingencies are there for, so that if you get to a true emergency situation, you go and you pull on those. Local governments can appropriate money in different segments. You can do it on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, 6 months, the whole year. So, part of that strategy is the fact that, you appropriate as necessary to cover what you need to cover. And if you're concerned about something 6 months down the road, maybe you only appropriate for the quarter, and then you can get more up-to-date information as you get closer to the next appropriation. Then you can make different decisions by that point. But I think we do understand that this could take longer than we believe it, than anybody maybe first expected. And right now, county staff reminds us they're basically working in 72-hour chunks. What new information do you have? What new information is coming in? Let's get through the next 72 hours. The board, as we work through our budget, will be doing the same, getting updates on how do we get through the first fiscal year, and then we'll do our best to plan for the next fiscal year. And obviously, we're being pretty conservative in how we're going to approach that, so that we don't overstretch or go past what we have resource-wise.
So, Ned, I personally want to thank you. I know you're busy. I know you're trying to run a business, trying to run a county. So thank you so much. And thank you for agreeing to come on. And thank you for agreeing to come on a regular basis. The vision here for the rest of this month and maybe the foreseeable future, as long as this crisis goes on, Yonna and I are going to try to do this twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. And we'll bring you in periodically as long as your schedule allows to update the public. And I think this is helpful. I think we can get,
No doubt.
we can get some basic high-level information out on a regular basis. So again, I personally want to thank you. I thank you for doing this. My mantra has been for the last week, stay safe and stay positive. You're a positive guy, right? I know that for a fact. So thank you for being positive, and thank you for staying safe, and thank you for taking care of us.
Appreciate you guys giving me a chance to come on. Look forward to doing it again.
All right, brother.
Thank you.
Be well. Be
Ned
safe.
Gallaway, thank you
Stay
very
positive.
much.
Thank you, guys.
Chairman, Albemarle County Board of Supervisors did a hell of a job right there. Dot the I's, cross the T's on Ned Gallaway, Keith.
Yeah, look, I can't overstate this. I can't say how lucky we are to have such pretty awesome elected officials. And these guys have stepped up to the plate. And
Agreed.
these guys, with a little bit of it didn't even require any coaxing when I reached out to each one of the elected officials within the 6 jurisdictions. They said, how can I help and when can I be there, and I will make this happen. So, by the way, it was the same conversation I had with Denver Riggleman. We're here. What can I do to help? And I'm in the process of trying to get some other state level and federal level folks to come in and chime in. But that's the goal. This is all about trying to get good information out and go out and buy yourself a mask, support some local artisans, local refugees. I own the mustache idea, guys.
Right,
so
there you go. You got the trademark on that bad boy.
I got the trademark. I'm going to take
That might actually be a patent on that one.
I'm going to send it to the patent office and see how it goes.
You have a chance to win 4 $25 gift cards to Marie Bet or Petite Marie Bet, Rose Hill Drive and Water Street. Here's the question. Put the answer in the comment section of one of the 12 Facebook pages you're watching this program on. The trivia question, boys and girls, name a watering hole, a bar, a saloon in the city of Charlottesville, that has no windows. Name a bar in the city of Charlottesville in the comment section that has no windows for a chance to win a Marie Bet $25 gift card. Give the stream a like as well, and then you're in the running. We have an answer from a planning commissioner and Rory Stolzenberg. We have an answer from Teresa Davis, an answer from Regina Paul, an answer from your brother-in-law, James Watson.
No, that doesn't surprise
an
me.
answer from Tim and Crozet. Some of them are right, some of them are not right. So we'll pick the winners and the answers at the end of the show. Keith Smith.
No, I'm trying to think.
You know this one, right?
No, I don't actually.
There's actually a couple of correct answers that we're going to
Does not have a window in it.
It does not have a window in it. Ray, the Aberdeen barn, I'm going to say, has a window. Aberdeen bar, when you walk in, I understand the bar portion. Ray Cadell just said the Aberdeen bar. I understand the bar portion does not, but the Aberdeen barn does have a window. And
I think there's a window in the front where the piano is.
And James Watson says Court Square Tavern. Court Square Tavern has a window, James.
Yeah.
Court Square Tavern has a window. Name a bar in the city of Charlottesville.
I'm super disappointed because he used to be a bartender in town.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's where I met him for the first time.
You should tell that story.
I met him at Orbit.
Yeah.
He was behind the bar.
Yeah.
I was freshly 21, or had a
last year, right?
or had a certificate that said I was from the state of New Jersey, even though I'm not from New Jersey, and we'll leave it at that. And I met him there, and I was like, "This guy's good people," and I've known him ever since. 17 years.
Yeah.
I feel relieved for a few reasons.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for you for using your contacts, for
you.
getting Ned Gallaway on this program and Michael
Thank you.
Payne. I'm also relieved as a Charlottesvillian and as someone who lives in Albemarle County that we have those guys in place as leaders.
Yeah. Yeah, and so either Friday or Tuesday, and the schedule's super fluid. We will bring in elected officials from the rest of the county so they can do the same thing and update us on that, Nelson and Greene and Fulana County and Louisa County. And we're just trying to get calendars squared away, and they're extremely busy, and trying to carve out at 15, 20 minutes is a bit of a challenge.
Gina Cook-Keller, hello.
Hey, Gina.
Ellie Tucker says, thank you, Keith, for doing the right thing with the mask. Okay. Ellie, thank you for watching the program. Musician Trevor Peach, welcome to the show. I'll throw this to you. The real estate category going into the summer and the fall, I think there's hope and optimism on the horizon.
Well, there's a lot of smart people, way smarter than I am, that are saying that. Dr. Yoon in particular from NAR, National Association of Realtors, and we're optimistic people by nature, you and I. So,
yeah.
As long as the basic core tenets don't change, right? Right now, correct, we're in an unemployment crisis, but I can tell you most of the business people that I'm talking to, one of them. I haven't got permission to use their name, so I'll just say it's a local barber shop. And I had a conversation with them the other day, and they're applying for this payroll thing, and as soon as they get it, they're bringing everybody back to pay them. They're not going to bring them back to cut hair because they can't,
right? But
they're going to start paying folks.
That's
Then
good.
Sir Speedy, we talked about this on Friday. They're looking to bring people back once they get this in. So everybody's anxious to bring people back. So I think you're going to see folks come back. But Yonna and I are extremely busy. The company's extremely busy. It's a little different busy, right? But there are some folks buying and selling, and if you feel comfortable with it, you should seek out a trusted advisor to help you through it.
We have a couple of realtors asking for this knowledge.
Sure.
Rabe's put it in the feed, a couple of other agents as well. Gentlemen, it might be time to bring on a lender to talk about changes, furlough versus laid off, differences in down payments maybe coming down the pipe, qualifying and pending deals. We were talking about that.
So apparently he's looking at my Rolodex.
Right,
So
he's listening.
on Friday,
Well said, Ray.
We got a lender coming in. On Tuesday, we got a lender coming in, and we're going to spend a lot of time. We tried to do this earlier, but we had some technical difficulties, so we've figured
Scott
that out.
Morris is coming in.
Yeah. Next Tuesday, Scott will be here to talk about this.
That's fantastic. I'm excited for that because I think that's knowledge people need.
So look, the simple answer to that is call your service provider immediately. If you feel you've lost your job or you feel you can't pay, don't be embarrassed. Everybody's in this boat. Keith and Yonna, we're going to call our service provider up and say, hey, what's available to us? And so, you get your online payment. If you do it old school like Yonna and I do, you get an actual book, and there's a phone number on it, and you call it and just say, hey, this is my circumstances, and they'll help. They're here to help. It may take longer. You have to be persistent. Everybody and their brother is calling for it, but get out there and reach out to these resources. This also may be a great time, and Scott will talk about it next Tuesday. I know the Smiths are talking about doing this is refinancing right now, right? That may be a better option for you.
Saving a point and change?
A little bit more than that.
Wow. So it's a no-brainer. What's the rule of thumb? If you can say, it's 2 points, it's a no-brainer. I've heard if it's like a point and change.
Yeah. So that's old school, right?
Yeah.
What it is today is a little bit different, and it depends on how long you're going to stay in the house. And I really would expect, would hope an expert more than I am,
Sure,
to go ahead
Scott
and talk
Morris.
about that. But in my opinion, it's always been 2 points. But that's just how I look at it.
How's the remodel project at your home going with subcontractors, COVID-19?
Yeah.
This is what you used to do.
Yeah. So everybody's wearing one of these.
Is that the case?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And the good news is we just have one person at a time in the house, and happens to be a family member. So my little brother's doing, God love him, most of the work. But we are done. We're literally
You're done.
We've literally
Congratulations, my
finished.
friend.
Thank you. But it's funny you should say that. So some of the conversations I've been having with the guys in the trades, or gals in the trades, they're super busy.
Yeah.
Particularly the folks that work for the commercial endeavors.
The remodeling category is booming.
Yeah, sure.
I have clients in the category. I have clients that service the home.
Sure.
It is booming.
Yeah.
Wayfair,
Interstate Pest Control, right?
Interstate is
Yeah,
one of our biggest
yeah,
clients.
sure,
We manage the branding
yeah,
and
sure,
marketing for them.
sure.
They're booming. Wayfair, the home furniture online company, is booming with orders. People are home.
We're pros. We're Wayfair pros. We've got furniture coming.
So you've been contributing.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think, you know what, and I've been thinking about this, if the money comes, and guys, we'll get to the answers. Keith Rosenfield, Hotcakes, welcome to the program, and Barracks Road Shopping Center. We support local, Keith. We
Amen,
support
brother.
local merchants and barracks. If the money comes from the federal government, that's the key for this. Get the money soon enough. I've had so many clients that have been impacted by this saying, we are itching to bring the team back.
Sure.
We are itching to open the doors. We're itching to get going. We just need a little bridge.
This too shall pass, and you're going to have to persevere. You're just going, the person on the other end of the phone or the email is having the same fears as you're having,
Right.
having the same reaction as you're having, and they're getting bombarded with hundreds and thousands of phone calls. So be patient, be a little loving. We're in this together, and but you do need to reach out. You need to get that process going, and like the congressman said last time, they're trying to figure out how to loosen some of this stuff up so it moves a little bit faster. As Michael Payne has said, it's changing daily. As Ned said, it's changing daily. So 2 things, go to a trusted source for your news. I would suggest that you watch the I Love CVille Network on a regular basis. I'd like to hope you watch Real Talk on Tuesdays and Fridays. We're going to try to provide some information as accurate and as to the point as we
It's brilliant.
possibly.
It's a good model because
I don't know
people
about
are on
brilliant.
this platform. Just bring the news to them.
Yeah, and then you can push it out.
And then we push it, and then we push it out.
Yeah. So any questions that popped in other than what we
We have a lot of people wanting the gift cards. I mean, a lot of answers coming in, a lot of incorrect answers. A lot of people saying St. Martin's. St. Martin's is closed, guys. St. Martin's, this is the question from Real Talk for 4 $25 gift cards to Marie Bet. Name a watering hole, a bar, or a saloon in the city of Charlottesville that does not have windows. And if correct answers can win a $25 gift card to Marie Bet. A lot of St. Martin's.
Well,
St. Martin's is closed.
yeah, sure. So just a little talk about on Friday. We're gonna give away. We're gonna do questions. We're gonna give 10 masks away this coming Friday, actually.
The planning commissioner has the right answer. Should I pick the winners?
This is yours.
Rory Stolzenberg, watching the program right now. He says Dirty Nellies.
Okay, that one I knew.
Dirty Nellies, Rory Stolzenberg, Charlottesville Planning Commissioner. You get a $25 gift card. We have more answers coming in. I'm going to accept this. Regina Alpaul says Lost Saint. Lost Saint is the speakeasy in the basement of Tavern and Grocery. Now, Tavern and Grocery has windows. The bar on Main Street, West Main Street.
Yeah, I got it.
Or across from the Purple Building.
So I'm going to make the call. Give it to her.
Yeah.
Because-
Lost Saint has no windows.
Yeah.
Regina Paul, you got a $25 gift card to Marie Bet.
So that's someplace new. I got to go drink.
Oh my
some
gosh,
things
dude!
to talk about.
The gin drinks are so good at Lost Saint. They make craft cocktails.
So I got.
Once they open again.
So I got excited after talking to Congressman Riggleman on Friday, and I went and realized I was out of gin. So Yonna and I, and for those who know Silverback, you can get online, you can order your thing, you drive up. There's a phone number on the front of it. You text the phone number. They walk out in masks and gloves and hand you your gin. So I picked up some gin and a little bit of bourbon.
I like it. I like it. Double Horseshoe. Michael Payne says Double Horseshoe Saloon feels like it has no windows. Michael Payne, I agree on that. It does have windows on the front, though, City Councilor. I've played many games of pool in Double Horseshoe Saloon. It's also one of the few bars, not that I smoke cigarettes, but one of the few bars in the city of Charlottesville that you can smoke inside. Miller's third floor, you can.
That's right.
Double Horseshoe Saloon, you can.
Sure.
Rory Stolzenberg says, I've eaten nothing but baguettes for 2 weeks. Please send help. Rory Stolzenberg is eating a ton of baguettes. I'll connect you. You and
So they
Rory
make
Stolzenberg.
they make great cupcakes there, brother.
There's not a single thing I've gotten from Rebet that's not delicious. It's my wife's favorite place to eat.
Well, I'm having a hard time losing 10 pounds because
Dude, the COVID-19. I mean, can you tell? You can tell, right?
I was going to say something, but I decided not to do that.
Could you tell?
I did not want to do that in front of 253,000 people.
I don't know about you guys that are watching the program. It's like the freshman 15 when you go to college as a freshman, as a first year. You gain 15 pounds. In COVID world, you gain the COVID-19. Dude, I've done no exercise for 3 freaking weeks.
Well, it's beautiful weather outside.
I know. I used to go to ACAC.
Yeah, I know that.
Does this count? Help me out here, guys that are watching the program. We have this answer here. And Teresa Davis put this answer. You may know this. Does the alley light have windows?
It does.
The alley, you're 100%?
I'm more than 100%.
Okay,
Sat
so
in front of them enough.
Teresa Davis does not get it right.
So on the street side of it, they have windows.
Okay. So that does not count.
The bar portion, if you would sit at the bar only, I could see that. But if you sit in one of their small little chairs by the street, there's windows there.
Okay, so we only have 2 of 4 winners today.
Wow.
We table the other 2 to the next week.
Sure.
So a lot of incorrect answers. 2 bars in the city of Charlottesville that have no windows. We're going to go Dirty Nelly's for the planning commissioner, Rory Stolzenberg, and Regina Paul said Lost Saint in the basement of Tavern and Grocery. 2 carry over to next week.
Come on, James. James Watson. There's a guy that's got to know the answer. But we'll find out. I'm going to call him call my brother-in-law.
I'm sure James knows. Yeah, I'm sure James knows. Good show. Give us the tease for Friday.
Yeah, so Friday, again, unfortunately, everybody's schedule's a little flexible, a little fluid at this point. But what I'm trying to do is to give some shout-outs, some local businesses. So we're going to bring in some of our local businesses that come in, and hopefully Jason from Rebet will agree to fit into his schedule. They're just working their tails off trying to keep their employees safe and provide great food for us in a safe manner. So we're struggling. We're making phone calls, letting that Rolodex work, man.
I love it. You can really tell I gained weight?
No.
Come on! I'm self-conscious. The show will be archived on the YesTeamRealtors.com.
Did I do a good enough job lying on that one? I did a lousy job.
You're so full of shit over there, Smith.
I am full of shit. That's the reason I got the mask
I know,
on.
because you can't see your towels from your mouth over there. That's why you got the mustache too, buddy, isn't it?
Did I tell you I had the client tell me I could talk the balls off of a pool table? Did I tell you that?
No doubt. You can sell catch-up to a princess wearing white gloves.
So a little personal note.
Yeah.
Yonna and I made me think of it as I was holding this up. My wife and I are having a COVID-19 canasta tournament going.
Is that online?
Actually, not having thought about that. We might do this Facebook Live. I didn't even think about that.
You should do that.
So it's just the 2 of us. We get together every evening. We have a cocktail. And so we're having a running total. And, when the goal here is whoever has the most points when this is officially over wins. And let's say I got a little catching up to do.
Yeah, because Yonna shells you every time, right?
Good Lord, it's ridiculous.
She's so talented at that.
And I'm trying.
Good Lord, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. I'm trying like heck, but when you lose by like 1,000 points a hand, it's pretty hard.
You're playing for the mortgage. The good thing is if she wins, she's paying half your mortgage. And if you win, you're paying half the mortgage.
If she wins, I pay the whole mortgage. But anyway. Anyway, so we've got an ongoing every evening between 8 and 9. We play a hand of couple few hands of canoster and build some points up. And so those of them out there, please pray for me because I'm way behind.
Well, I wish you the best. Today's show went flawlessly. Judah, thank you.
Thank you, Judah.
We'll archive it on the Yes Team Realtors. We'll archive it on ilovecville.com and syndicate it for the next 2 weeks. We will see you Friday, my friend. Love
Mask
this
and all.
program. Yeah, this show all about facts, figures, in an approachable and fun way on Real Talk powered by the Yes Team.
And mask fashion.
And mass fashion. Mine's red.
That's
Yours
the
is
reason I
green.
picked. That's the reason
We
I
got
picked
another
it.
one over here that's...
That's the reason I picked the red one for you. I think that'll go. I don't know. This might go well with your outfit. I don't know, but I like that better.
Keith is matching my clothes. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, guys. Have a good morning and a good afternoon.
Take care, guys. Thanks.
Great show, Obi. Great show. That went well.
So
Payne
you
and Gallaway did great.
Oh yeah.
You're looking at a...
Are we still hot?
I think he's starting them off right.